Today we're gonna show you how to make the ultimate poached egg, the cloud egg. Turns out it's actually not a poached egg, I lied. It's gonna be crazy fluffy whites around a runny yolk, and it's a very simple technique. Very cloud-like. I don't know, clouds aren't really springy. Maybe they are, I've never touched a cloud. Poached eggs are awesome, but there's two things that are a little tricky about them. You have to have very, very fresh eggs, and it takes time hovering over the pot. With this technique, it only takes about 10 minutes, and you're freed up to do whatever you want. This is a technique that's been kind of lost in history. It's very, very old, but many people haven't seen it yet. So it's gonna be wrapped in plastic, then steamed. If you don't have the plastic wrap, the whole thing's gonna fall apart, and it's gonna be a mushy, wet mess that you don't want. To save time, the first thing you wanna do is actually get your steamer going. Because again, this isn't actually a poached egg, it's a steamed egg. Got our steamer going, that's the first thing, because that'll take about like 5 minutes to heat up or so. So 4 bowls. So we're gonna take some plastic wrap, push those down in. So we are gonna be tying these up, so you want extra plastic on all sides, probably about 3 or 4 inches or so. So if you don't have a bamboo steamer at home, you can just have a pot of water. You only need a couple inches of water in there, put a sieve on top, put the lid back on the pot, you're steaming. We're gonna spray the plastic wrap because that's gonna actually help the egg pop out of it later on. If you don't have nonstick spray, use olive oil, veg oil, whatever you want, whatever you got. It's melted butter in there. So we're gonna have 4 other vessels. That's where we're gonna put our yolk. A lot of people actually like to go like shell to shell with their eggs. That definitely works, but I feel like it's actually most consistent and safest to use your hand to crack into it. That way you can also like pinch off that bottom albumin. So at this point, we got our 4 whites, got our 4 yolks on deck. We're gonna add a pinch of salt to the whites. And now we're gonna take it to stiff peaks. You can do this in a stand mixer, you can do it by hand. You get a little tired, practice on your left. Kyle, what'd you say? That's like almost mid peaks. It's kind of like between soft and mid.
Yeah, it needs a little bit more. Otherwise the yolk will sink.
Otherwise the yolk's gonna sink. Let's check it out. Stiff peaks. Kyle says, just evenly divide it between all 4 bowls. Then we're gonna create a divot. That's gonna be like a little nest for the yolk to go in. If you want to, you can even flavor your whites, but make sure you're using dry ingredients. So you can add like curry powder, a little bit of harissa powder. We're just gonna make a nice little home for the yolk. All right, so one thing that's really important when you're creating the little divot is you wanna push it down a little bit farther than you think, because that's gonna make wrapping it a bit easier, because once that yolk is in there, you don't wanna move it around. It's gonna be very delicate. I like a little bit of black pepper on my eggs. So you wanna crack them on the yolks before you put them in. Yes, you could just crack it on the whites, but we want it to look really white like a cloud. Let's see if I can even do this, Kyle. Dad.
Yeah, you just want to pinch that top so it closes there.
You don't want to do too many twists, right?
Get that tight knot, otherwise it'll blow up.
You should just have him in focus and I'll just be blurred out, just doing it. All right, on to the next. Doo-doo-doo. So again, this is why it's important to have longer saran wrap. You want it to kind of go over the side of the bowl about like 4 or 5 inches or so, because you got to tie that guy. Oh, one good note. Can I do this the day before, Nick? No, your whites are gonna deflate. So you wanna do this just before you're ready to serve it. All right, we got our 4 eggs ready. So make sure your steamer's going, have these wrapped up. You probably have about, I'd say like a 5-minute window. If that, yeah, you got 5 minutes to get it in there so you can enjoy it. So 6 minutes is the safest for a nice runny yolk, fully cooked whites. So during this time, you can make your toast, you can make your avocado, slice it up, feed herbs, get your kids ready for school. I can just sit around. It's time for breakfast. It's been 6 minutes. Look at our eggs, super cloudy, super puffy, almost kind of doubled in size, but cool, let's get those out. We don't want to go to 7 minutes because we don't want to overcook our yolks. We got our toast ready, so all you need to do with a knife or scissors, snip off the top. Because we sprayed it, they come out super easy. Poached egg can't do that. Okay. If you want, a little bit of finishing salt. But you do want to serve these right away in the first 5 minutes or so. Some herbs, we got some dill, we got some tarragon. There you have it. the lightest, the fluffiest. Even though we said this is ultimate, it can get even better. We have different ways you can upgrade it with fillings and inclusions to put with the yolk or instead of the yolk. Check it out, chefsteps.com. The cloud egg